Hi, I'm Julie Dutchover, and today I'm going to introduce to you the Brigance testing kit. The Brigance is an assessment that was created in 1975 and between 1975 and 1978 by Albert Brigance. Albert Brigance was a special education resource specialist. He created the Brigance to evaluate student academic placement. The Comprehensive Inventory of Basic Skills 2, SIBS 2, is a normed state standard comprehensive test administered to identify students who may have learning disabilities or exceptionalities. It is an assessment program published by Curriculum Associates in 2010. The purpose of this assessment is to measure academic achievement of oral, written, listening, reading, and math skills in students ranging in age in grades 1st through 6th and in age 5 through 13. It is also used in deciding whether a student is eligible for special education services, as well as assessing students who already have an IEP and need to be assessed for their triennial. This standard provides a recording of specific, ongoing, graphic, and easily communicated to the student. So this assessment is easy for the student to understand because it's worded at a level that's not difficult for them to understand. The SIBS 2 is easy to follow and report to both students and parents. It is a highly reliable, accurate, and valid assessment tool with more than 20 years of research and experience in child assessment. The results of 20 years of research indicate outstanding internal consistency, excellent alternative forms of reliability, and a high degree of reliability in such areas as motor skills. SIBS 2 measures achievement and is useful in special education, teachers, administrators because it meets the IDEA and the NCLB requirements. The Brigance Inventory Assessment covers, like I said, reading and ELA, English Language Arts, writing and math, and it allows the teacher to produce grade equivalent percentiles and quotients in demonstration that will assist in determining one student's academic needs, or each student's academic needs. The test is administered one-on-one with a teacher verbally giving the student prompts and recording his responses. I believe this test would be highly effective and useful in assessing students who are showing severe delays in grade academic progress. So to begin, I want to show you what the Brigance kit looks like. This is a comprehensive inventory of basic skills 2. This is the book that I use as the assessor on this side, and then the student would sit across from me as I would test him, and this would be his side. So over here I'm reading instructions, and over here I'm telling him what to do on this side. He'll either have a paper form or he'll read directly from the book. Here I have the report section that I would report the student's answers to evaluate how he's doing in that area. So today I'm going to assess a student in 3 specific areas. The first area is word recognition grade placement test, B3. Now this assessment measures the student's ability to read words commonly introduced in reading text from pre-primer level through 8th grade level. Now I would read instructions, and because this student is at the 6th grade level, he is going to read 2 grade levels below what he's able to read, because that's what the assessment says to do. I will tell him to start at number 51. And so that's the beginning of the 4th grade level. I would say, read the words aloud as quickly as you can. Start with the first word on number 51 and read as many as you can. Then I would have my tool open to the page, and I have a copy, an exact copy of what the student is reading. If the student can read 3 consecutive words in a row, that is the basal entry. When the student makes 10 consecutive errors in reading, that is the ceiling, and that's where I would stop the assessment. I would terminate this test with that particular student and say he's done. I would mark all the words that he got correct by circling them. I would just circle each one, and then I would mark out the ones that he did not get correct, and I would keep track that way. This is not a timed assessment. This is just an assessment of how many the student can accurately or inaccurately read. The next assessment that I'm going to assess the student on is Computations Skills Grade Placement Test B7. The student would have a copy of the math paper here in front of him on his side of the desk. And this assessment measures the ability to compute basic math problems. That's basically what this assessment is. It is timed for 60 seconds, and I would just say, I want you to do as many of the math problems as you can. Be sure to work carefully and do as the signs tell you. Work as quickly as possible, but try not to make mistakes. When I say stop, you must put down your pencil and look at me. So let's practice this. Take up your pencil and then put it down at your desk. Okay, stop. Good, you looked at me. Okay, when I say go, start working. Ready, go. And that's where I would start my timer for 60 seconds. And when the timer goes off, I would say, stop. Put down your pencil. Look at me. Good. I'm going to mark where you stopped. Now put a little mark on where he stopped. Okay, now you may keep working on these problems until you can't do any more. And again, the basal for this assessment for the math is if he can do 3 consecutive problems correctly, and the ceiling is when he does 3 incorrect problems. And so when I see he's done 3 incorrect in a row, then that's where I tell him he needs to stop, and it's okay, we can be done with this assessment. Okay? I'm going to continue on in Sentence Writing Grade Placement Test B10. So this is a writing assessment. And here the student would have a copy of this, and these are words written with empty spaces on the line. This student is in 4th grade, so I'm going to give him a copy of 2. Because he's in the 4th grade, we're going to start on level 3, where the words are just a little bit more challenging than a student in grades 1 through 3 would start here. Grades 4 through 6 are going to begin at number 3. This assessment will measure the student's ability to construct and write sentences using words that are commonly introduced between grades 1st and 8th. The student will be given instructions like this. The student will have a piece of construction paper covering most of the paper so that he's not overwhelmed with all the words and getting confused with each one. He'll know exactly where to go, and I would place the construction paper over the words that he does not need at this time and only let him see the words that he does need to work on right now. Here's the instructions that I would give the student. Slide the construction paper down until you see example. The example is of 3 words: swam, fish, and little. The example is right here: swam, fish, and little. All 3 of these words were used in the sentence. The sentence says, the little fish swam. I want you to read the words in the box and then write a sentence using all of the words. You may add other words and endings to the words so that your sentences make sense. Do you understand? Good. I want you to write as many sentences as you can. Work as quickly as possible, but try not to make mistakes. When I say stop, you must put your pencil down and look at me. Practice this. Pick up your pencil and look at your desk. Okay, stop. Good, you looked at me. Okay, when I say go, remove the sheet of paper down to the number 3, and then when you're done with that sentence, push your paper down to the next sentence or group of words. Now, of course, I'm going to read this much slower for the student. I'm going to wait for his response and make sure that he understands the instructions properly. I'm going to time the student for 120 seconds and as many sentences that he can write using the words in each column. That's when I will say stop. Okay? There is no basal and no ceiling for this test. Basically, that's the Brigance test. I gave you 3 introductions to 3 separate subsets of this test. The first one being word recognition, the second one math computation, and then the third one in writing. The student would work each subset at one sitting, and basically that's it. Then I would score the student. Obviously, I would score the student, and then I would write goals according to what the student is able to do at his grade level, and then I would report those at the IEP. Thank you very much. Goodbye.